Bantamweight bout. Raoni Barcelos coming in at minus 198 against Miles John, who's coming in at plus 198. Over under 2.5 rounds, minus 155 for the over, plus 155 for the under. Barcelos coming in here against Johns, and Barcelos coming off the loss to Umar Nurmagomedov, which is not a good look. No, I'm kidding. It's a pass. You get a good pass for that one. But 36 years old compared to 29 years old. Is Raoni Barcelos aging? What would you say?
It's hard to tell. First of all, that knockout he took to Umar, I don't think he was expecting that shot at all. He's probably worried about the takedowns and Umar trying to close the distance and get in and get his hands locked, and then he gets caught there with a beautiful shot. Which that part makes me a little bit nervous that he took a big knockout like that, and he's coming back with that was what, in January. So kind of not a quick turnaround by any means, but
he was out. He was out.
Yeah, I mean, his head bounced off the canvas unconscious. So, and being that old, it just makes you wonder. You just hope he's not losing that chin, especially after he's got a fair share of fights in the UFC at the UFC level. Lost to Victor Henry and Valiev, but the Valiev fight, let's see. Yeah, he had 2 knockdowns in that fight. I mean, he had a lot of success. He's got power. What'd you say?
Teamer. Yeah, he's on tough now.
Yeah, and fights next week, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But Raoni Barcelos, he's probably the more well-rounded fighter here, in my opinion. Anywhere this goes, he can get the takedowns. He'll fish for submissions. He's got great volume on the feet. Does get hit a little bit if you look at his stats. Like, history will tell you he will get touched up at times. But the one thing I'm keying in on here is you look at Miles Johns, and his record does not impress in the least bit, in my opinion, at least. Yeah, he's got the loss recently to John Castaneda by submission. But outside of that, man, his wins, Vince Morales, cut from the UFC. Anderson Dos Santos, I don't believe is in the UFC anymore. Same with Kevin Natividad. So, I mean, Mario Batista and John Castaneda, I believe, are the only guys left in the UFC, and both guys finished him. So, I mean, is he fighting to the level of fighter he is, losing to the UFC caliber guys and beating the guys who aren't cut out for it? So there's kind of some questions there for me. I mean, he does have some takedowns that he will land at times, but against Raoni Barcelos, I just don't see him having a lot of success in that department. And on the feet, Raoni's pretty damn good too. So overall, I think this is Barcelos' fight to win for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just don't like the direction that he's heading in. Maybe it's like a bit of a bounce back for him. When he's 36, it's like what's like, what are you fighting for at this point? Like,
right?
Is it just for paychecks and it's just part of what you do? But I mean, he's 1-3 in his last 4. Granted, the losses are to Umar Nurmagomedov, Victor Henry. In that one, like, Barcelos was a big favorite in that one, and that was Victor Henry's debut. And then Barcelos against Timur Valiev, who is on tough now. So I'm looking at that like, I don't know. At the chalk, like, I just can't really. I don't think I can get behind it. Like, he had a good performance against Trevin Jones, which he was a favorite in that one as well. But Miles John's 29 years old, and I know in his last fight was the one where he was supposed to be cornered by James Krause, and they like wouldn't let him in.
Right.
So he didn't have like a coach in his corner. So what he's up to now is a question, and it'll be his first, fight with a new corner. So who knows how that's going to go down. But yeah, I don't know. Something about this one feels wrong. Like, to lay the chalk on Barcelos, even though like it looks like on paper he should win because he's well seasoned. The losses aren't terrible, but at the same time, it's like he's probably slowing down. Miles Johns might be, hitting a stride in his career at 29 years old. I don't know. It just screams like red flags to me. I don't know. It's just something about it. Probably just won't even bet it, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see like violence in this fight. Honestly, I mean, I could see both guys coming out there swinging. Barcelos has the finishing ability, and obviously he's coming off the knockout. Miles John, I think, needs a big finish here. So far in his career in the UFC, he's kind of win loss. And if I believe all of them besides Morales are finishes, so the guy can be finished and he can get finishes. Same with Barcelos. So I could see this one going under. I'll have to look. What did BetOpenly have the over under at? Do you remember?
I can pull it up right here.
2.5.
Yeah,
So
2.5 minus 155 for the over, plus 155 for the under.
I don't really mind it.
Yeah,
I don't really mind the under.
yeah. I mean, considering Barcelos just got knocked out by Umar, who hadn't really been knocking guys out like that.
Yeah.
But Johns has a split decision win to Adrian Yanez in LFA. So Yanez got them hands too. I'm telling you, something about this one doesn't smell right. Does not smell right.
Go with your gut. Go with your gut.
We'll see. We'll see if I'm smelling things right, But for the sake of the show, since it doesn't smell right, I'll take Miles Johns, and we will see.